Well, hi there, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Code. Today we have a very special episode with Peter Olah, who is the VP of Engineering at Bestow, a platform for life insurance and annuity providers. Now, Bestow is focused on the very core of insurer business operations and is transforming how they create and deliver value. They're modernizing a lot of legacy ways of working in an industry that's remained virtually untouched for almost 3 decades. They're not just another tech tool. They're disrupting many workflows, including the underwriting process, how agents sell, how fraud detection processes occur, and are infusing AI intelligence throughout the entire value chain and through a lot of workflows. Now, Bestow partners with industry leaders like Nationwide, Transamerica, USAA, Salmon Financial Group, and will be announcing many additional partners soon. They have a 100% customer retention rate and a 2.5x year-on-year increase in their transaction volume. This episode is very timely as Bestow just raised their Series D to help them continue to build and expand their business. We have been integrated partners with Bestow for the past many years, helping them across a lot of their build efforts, and we feel very proud by this announcement and wish Bestow all the best. This episode gets a little deeper. It gets beyond the surface as we want to give you insights into how executives like Peter wrestle with business model pivots, technical challenges, thinking through disrupting legacy ways of working, and product market fit questions. Bestow is solving a hard problem and is one of those rare successful business model pivots, and that makes this conversation even more interesting. In 2024, Bestow was a life insurance D2C business, which it then divested, and it made its pivot into this B2B model, focusing exclusively on vertical software platforms for life insurance businesses. Essentially, they're now building products for the version of a business that they once were, which makes it very interesting. Now, Peter is a pretty seasoned technology executive. He's had stints at Expedia, at Care.com, HomeAway, and at IBM before his current role as the VP of Engineering at Bestow. He's been a wonderful partner to work with, and I hope you enjoyed this conversation. So congratulations to Bestow on its Series D, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Beyond the Code. So Peter, thank you for joining us today, and really appreciate your time here. Maybe we could start off with a quick background about yourself, and your journey to Bestow so far, and what took you there.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. Excited to talk about my journey, that of Bestow's, and the partnership between our two companies. Kind of starting from where we are today, I've been at Bestow for 3.5 years. Before that, Care.com, Expedia, and before that, HomeAway, that IPO'd and was then purchased by Expedia. Before that, I was a consultant for about 7 years in the technology industry. And throughout this journey, I kind of recognized that I want to be a very technical engineering leader, somebody who helps empower people and ultimately builds great teams who build great technology.
Wonderful. Thanks for that background. Would also love to learn a bit more about Bestow. How was Bestow formed? What was the original problem Bestow was looking to solve? And where do you really fit in the insurance value chain?
Yeah, totally. So Bestow recognized that the life insurance industry is offline. So you can think of many other industries who've been revolutionized, maybe even disrupted by technology, and life insurance was not one of those areas. So initially we sold direct-to-consumer life insurance policies, and that's how the company started, because we recognized that the over 45-day sales cycle of an in-person life insurance purchase is just not pragmatic and efficient for today's technology anymore.
Makes a ton of sense. And I assume you've we went through this transition period where you've pivoted now from being more of a B2C to a B2B company. What essentially drove that transition? Could you talk a little bit more about that pivot and your journey there?
Working with enterprise partners is a huge opportunity for Bestow because we can offer a platform, a technology suite that nobody else has. There is no competition out there for us. And we proved ourselves that through our initial direct-to-consumer experience, we can be very effective in the SaaS business because we've kind of earned ourselves the battle wounds, if you will, to move the industry forward for us.
Makes a ton of sense. So that's very interesting because you got the hands-on experience, and now you're actually building for the company you were in the past. Pivots, of course, are tricky. They require a lot of heavy lifting, but when they're done right, they could add so much value. And so, interesting story there. Could you outline a little bit more about your vision now in this new version of Bestow? The infrastructure player for insurance companies. What's the vision out there? What were the insights that you had previously operating as an insurance carrier, and then what you're trying to build for carriers?
Yeah. We're changing. I like to say we're changing the life insurance industry for good, and that really has many meanings to it. It's going to be better. It is becoming better for people who are using our platform because their sales cycle really goes from over 45 days to potentially a quick less than 5 minutes. So you can appreciate the difference. Of course, that also means that the sales cycle becomes significantly cheaper. It's really cost inefficient to have these large life insurance companies spend a bunch of money on, registered nurses to take fluids from somebody, or large underwriting teams to do a lot of things manually that could be done programmatically. So that is our thesis, and it's proving because our strategy is resonating with our partners, and our platform is getting more and more adopted by the different players of the industry.
Can you unpack a little bit more about that intuition you had on that workflow you were describing that is very painful right now? There's a lot of manual processes, and what's being digitized, or what point of friction has been removed through Bestow's technology?
Life insurance industry has traditionally been done based on health results that are rooted in fluids, so blood draws and such. And we are now basing our underwriting decisions specifically on health records. So any information we collect, or we have exposure to information that has been collected about any individual, and that's how we create our underwriting decisions. That is very new and novel to our partners, because they used to run their business with this very manual ways.
That makes a lot of sense. So there's a fair bit of automation in this underwriting product. Has that helped more in terms of throughput and the amount of these that they can process, or has that helped more in terms of just the amount of workforce that needs to process it? So more kind of an efficiency gain.
Yeah, so it has tremendously helped the implementation of new products, because our platform has taken the implementation of an insurance product, and when I say insurance product, I mean a specific type of life insurance product, to be implemented in a matter of weeks or months, versus any other approach that would take years. And it is because we have a robust platform that will then be manually and minimally configured for the specific needs of a life insurance carrier. First of all, Bestow very much realized that so much of life insurance gets sold by agents. And agents are kind of a lifeblood of this industry. And the better we empower them, the better we support them, the better product we build for them, the better the business do. And agents used to sell in a very manual and potentially error-prone way in that 45-day sales cycle that is getting increasingly outdated. An example of that would be writing down a client's ACH routing and account numbers on a Post-it. So we're changing that, and we're making it much safer and much more ergonomically a little comfortable for agents to work in a beautifully designed 21st century compliant platform that's a pleasure to work with and work in. And oh, by the way, your sales cycle goes from 45 plus days to potentially less than 10 minutes.
Understood. Is there a certain element of intelligence also that now gets embedded in where agents are just able to convert a lot better, are able to be a lot more context heavy and rich with this? Or is it more a platform that helps them, just be more efficient in their day-to-day tasks?
So I think our biggest value proposition is the fact that we're modernizing things that have never been modernized.
Right.
And that includes shortening the sales cycle. That includes instant payment. That includes a lot of life insurance still being sold on ACH. So right. Transactions. We're introducing credit card payments. That is, maybe surprisingly not really present in the life insurance industry. So we're introducing that. So there's a lot of just like table stakes, 21st century features that we're bringing into the life insurance business. On top of that, we are also playing in the Gen AI space where we have certain experimental products that can be helpful for both agents as well as later down the funnel participants to use these tools and make their jobs more effective.
Good segue into the intelligence suite that I believe you're building as well. Could you talk a little bit more about what that enables and what your vision is there?
Yeah, it's multi-pronged. Fraud detection is one area that is just really... There's payment fraud, of course, and there are companies who specialize in that. But there's life insurance fraud specifically. And we're helping to reduce fraud related to life insurance. So that's one area. And then because we have access to data across all of our partners, we're able to make decisions related to fraud that other companies are unable to. Okay, so that's one area. And in terms of other intelligence, there's a process called post-issue audit where we review every instant issued life insurance policy to make sure that there was not a mistake made or something not called in someone's life insurance application. And we're introducing Gen AI to basically look for specific conditions that may be hard for the human eye to find, but a Gen AI tool can very quickly analyze hundreds of pages of medical records for one single person. And it's important to make sure that we understand that this is not about underwriting. This is about decision has already been made. And now we're in the post-issue audit process where we use Gen AI to look at potentially missed conditions, and then we suggest that to the underwriter to take a closer look at. And it tremendously speeds up the process.
As I was reflecting, there's so many parts of the value chain, from kind of a pre-sales to post-sales motion. Obviously, the underwriting bit, that's super important. You're catering to the core workflows of carriers, to agents as well. And from the technical side, there are elements, as you were just alluding to, of Gen AI on the fraud detection, machine learning. There's a UI UX component. There's a digitization of workflows. So there's a lot. What do you think has kind of been the most technically challenging in implementing all of these, and what's been surprisingly easy with kind of progress in technology that we've seen so far?
Keeping a platform mindset and realizing that we're building these features for all carriers, not just a single one, has required some discipline. We're not a custom development shop. We are life insurance software platform, and exercising the discipline has been something that we've been very, very keen on. So that has not been easy necessarily. So that I would say that's been kind of the hard part. It's all been hard. You know, it's you can imagine that building a componentized UI framework in which you can pick off certain parts of the UI flow to put it together has not been easy. It would have been too easy to stand up different UI clients for each of our partners, but then we're not building a platform, right? So when we talk about easy and hard, none of it has been easy, I think. But part of what we're here for is it's a problem that nobody has been able to solve, and that's not due to lack of trying. That's no other partner, no other company has been able to solve this problem. So I really struggle to come up with anything that's been easy in this process.
No, that was really well articulated, and you're only disrupting a huge legacy industry with established players that's over decades old, with established processes. So no big deal. No, it's a huge task you're undertaking. If you could talk about just even how the Symphony team has maybe scaled with your team and gotten more and more integrated, would love to even hear from your point of view a little bit about that journey.
I think it started, I think we've had some false starts in terms of putting the Symphony team on an island, not integrating them with our stakeholders, product managers, engineering teams in the US. And we've evolved from there to tightly integrated teams who are part of all of the ceremonies and they just happen to be in Central Europe, right? So that's been a shift, that's been an evolution, and I think we're all better for it.
Peter, thank you so much for your time. I wanted to leave you with just one last question. We've been asking all our folks on the fun side, with all that's happening with Gen AI, what's something that you've been using Gen AI and these tools on the personal front to make your life a little bit better?
Yeah.
Interesting exercises.
Yeah. So I'll answer it in two ways. One is on that post-issue audit tool that idea came from a hobby project that I was working on that was called Peterbot. And my idea was that I would spin up this bot for people to talk to it versus talking immediately to me. I write a Substack on leadership, and I uploaded the Substack context for the Gen AI to answer questions from. Small project, but I was very proud of it, and it was a fun hobby that I was very pleased to bring back to my day-to-day job, and now it's kind of a fun project at work. So that's been really fun, and that's more on the very technical side of things. On the other side, I use Claude, and I use Claude Desktop, and I use it for so many things. I use it often. It's just a first draft of something I write. It really gives me a running start versus like having to get going. So putting that first paragraph down and after that, myself iterating on it has really boosted my day-to-day.
Wonderful. Peter, thanks again for your time. I know you're in one of our development centers in Belgrade working with the team, so really appreciate you carving out some time from a busy schedule and really enjoyed our conversation, and best of luck with the Bestow journey. Thanks again.
Thank you. Likewise, my pleasure, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, Peter.